Welcome back to the HGC. We're gearing up for game number 3 between Tricked Esports and Team Liquid. Team Liquid wants to win this. They want to be able to get themselves set up for the HGC finals, but if they lose, things might be hurting for them. On the other side, you got Tricked Esports, who loves to show up randomly, and when they do, it's pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, Tricked is a weird team right now.
They are.
This is like, it's so different who you talk to. Alex is always like the grumpy old guy that is very pessimistic. He could be German. Like I have no idea.
Possible.
I have no idea why he isn't German, to be honest.
German without coffee. That's where Alex Aproji is.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, you have everyone else who's super cheery. So it's a very interesting balance that they have in the team. And normally they are super hyper. And when they have fun, they just can destroy anybody. And that's what every team that you talk to is basically saying as well. If they get some momentum, if they're having fun playing, then you are up for a real tough battle. And that's what Team Liquid has faced in game number 2, when Alex and his boys all of a sudden use Syndragosa and Falling Sword. But then again, game 3 is going to show us who's going to take the lead in the series once more.
Well, let's go to the battleground for game number 3 and see if the fun dial continues to go up, as we'll have Battlefield of Eternity picked here by Tricked Esports, and this is one of their battlegrounds. They love this place.
Yeah, they like to fight, and this is a map where they can pull it off. So Tricked with a choice, which means that we are of course having the first pick on the side of Team Liquid once again. And this draft should also be a little bit different, because once again ETC is going to play a huge role. His value is not so much on, well, he gets value on Tomb of the Spider Queen for a very different reason of what he's picked on other maps. Tomb of the Spider Queen is pretty small, stage dive is usually not as much of a priority, but you can still set up kills for the rest of your team. Whereas on any other map, he's trying to be that hero that gives you flexibility during the draft and can then also soak with stage dive, but is still able in the early game to give you a kill or two thanks to a good power slide isolation.
Yeah, he falls underneath the umbrella of those stun tanks that really do well against the Immortal, especially when you're in defensive spots. Being able to bring out some kind of CC that locks someone down could have your Immortal bolster it out with an extra stun as well. So a new Barak, ETC, Johanna to a degree, these heroes that can kind of force scenarios, makes them pretty strong. That's where a hero like Alarak actually looks really good too, because he's able to throw somebody into the Immortal stun, which is always a great tool.
Another hero that we have to watch out for being picked early would also be Vala. So Vala and ETC are both quite strong if you get them together, because ETC peels heavily for Vala and can create space for her that she then can utilize. And especially in the European meta, Vala has seen high priority on this map because her arrow build is so strong against the Immortal. So that's something that we can expect here too. And Team Liquid even moving into a first ban on Arthur's now. Now, we have seen Arthur's ban against Tricked over and over again. But I think after the last game, this is one of those things where Liquid just says, yeah, that's not happening.
Just one of those things that Esports just pulls off so well, especially here on this battleground. If they win Immortal phase, we've seen them go into the opposite direction and force down another lane instead, forcing their opponent to deal with the Immortal while they just push it for a 5-man. And then they watch the flank with the Arthas, get the Howling Blast, get the engages, and you can see how things kind of spiral out of control for the opponent. So an Arthas ban coming in right away from Team Liquid, they're not even going to deal with it.
Yeah, Liquid asking themselves, okay, how exactly are we dealing with this right now? Well, we don't have an immediate answer for it. Let's just get it out of the way and make sure that we're not getting blindsided. So Liquid with the first pick. ETC has been banned out by Tricked, so we could Team Liquid. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do. You could go into an early Vala if you value her highly enough. You could have gone into Dehaka and make sure that you get that side soak. But Team Liquid is saying, we take Rhaegar. First of all, they know how much Tricked values Rhaegar, and second of all, Rhaegar works against the objective. He's a fantastic healer, so they deny something to the opponent, gain something for themselves that they're strong with, and also add more pressure to the Immortal race.
Yep, and you don't really have to move into the other meta picks we were talking about in the other maps. You don't have to grab Dehaka here right away. You can kind of actually deal with him with how small the battleground is. So again, the Rhaegar just goes up in priority. But I am curious to see what Tricked Esports is going to answer back with. Typically, if they don't get that Rhaegar, we see them move into the Uther, grab him pretty quickly, and then just grab a tank that goes in for the engages. But with ETC being banned out, I want to know if that's going to adjust at all.
Yeah, I'm asking myself if we're going to see a Greymane taken again for Make, if it's an earlier Vala, if maybe they go for some combo around Oriel here.
The Genji's up. He's not one that you really move into right away. It's one of those battlegrounds where he feels a little bit weaker on, but it is Tricked Esports. They could pull that out as well. They decided to move into the Lunara and the Tassadar.
Okay, so Lunara, Tassadar, leaving for now Greymane open. Lunara with great poke, also strong against the Immortal itself. But Liquid, they have the opportunity to go into a Vala composition if they want to at this point.
Vala Ario would be the Team Liquid we know from the last few weeks right away, just grabbing that. They do have Cleanse this time and can make it work. We'll see if they want to build into that at all. Other options that pop up, we've seen them on Greymane. Hasselhoff's, Darkmok both play it pretty darn well. Malthael also good on this battleground. We've seen Malthael mixed in a few times.
Yeah, given how they played in the last few games, I would say Vala is a very high priority. Then again, we have seen Liming, and Liming is also another hero that is very good for the poke battle on the map. And for the Immortal, when you have those standoffs, it can be really nice to have her in your setup too. So that might be another hero to watch out for. Maybe they go into the 2 damage dealers again, can even proc that with double support as well. And Vala is taken, we have Muradin. So leave the options open. They have a very nice setup already as is. Have Muradin that can jump in, and then they can still pick a Liming later on. They could still go into Oriole, so they still have all the options open to react to the next 2 picks that Tricked is going to throw out.
What do you think about Toronto possibly later here for them?
I think it can definitely work, yeah. With Muradin, the follow-up stun then from Tyrande, you also have Rhaegar already, and Tyrande can definitely work since she's also putting more pressure onto the Immortal itself. I feel it depends a bit on what exactly Tricked is going to take here, but yeah, that would be another option for them. So they have, I think this is one of the reasons why we now see Vala and Muradin, because you have a lot of paths that you can take. Yeah. Flexibility on their end is just pretty solid.
Kind of hoping, fingers crossed, for that Toronto to pop out. The 100 mark on the Immortal always helps burning it down, which is always
sold
good.
on the Toronto now,
yeah,
aren't you?
I'm so into it now. I played it once, and I was like, this is awesome. I want more of it. The problem is, I played it once, and then we started seeing pretty much everyone in Hero League playing it. It is everywhere right now, as everyone just keeps throwing those Zals out left and right.
Yeah.
Pretty outstanding what HGC has done when it comes to Toronto.
Does an A play Tyrande?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, HGC. I haven't really seen too much.
I haven't, no.
Alright, so America watching HGC Europe, confirmed.
That's right away. All in on there. Because it's literally everywhere in Hero League right now. Everyone's picking Toronto, going in, dropping down the combos. It's just so good for a lot of the maps, too, that are currently out. Okay, so 3rd and 4th pick coming in here soon. The Tassadar Tracer combo is not available as Tracer gets banned out here from Team Liquid. That's fine, though. They already have a Lenara, so they can benefit from that already.
I would still expect them to head into a Greymane. Alright, Anubarak and Uther prioritized higher, so they still have an option unless, of course... I don't think we're gonna see... No, okay, they're not gonna play with Greymane here. And here comes Tyrande, and we have Malthael as the mix. So we have the double stun comp. There's a lot of Immortal pressure here. Good side laner as well, puts the pressure in those team fights and later on. Yeah, there's a lot of value on the side of Team Liquid already. I really like the draft that they have.
Yeah, I mean, there's poke, there's the ability to deal with the Immortal, they have solid team fight too.
And for Tricked, I don't think that Greymane is going to make an appearance here. They need a hero for Alex, and I don't see him jumping on Tassadar anytime soon in this setup. So, yeah. What do you put up to the top? Do you go into Dehaka with this?
Dehaka's safe. I'm actually a little bit worried for them, looking at the comp for what Team Liquid has right now. What is the answer here that makes me say, this is it? It's Dehaka, so they have the safe pick. They have the engages. If they're able to get locked down, it can work out for them. But based off what Team Liquid has, I see them just destroying the Immortal phase. Tricked Esports is in a spot where they have to make plays, it feels like.
Yeah, and it's going to be rough against this stun combo that we are seeing. So definitely a strong draft for Team Liquid here. It's game number 3, so one of the 2 teams is going to take the lead here once again. Tricked has done a fantastic job coming back into it and tying the series with a match on Tomb of the Spider Queen, where they blindsided their opponent. But right now, this is really the moment where Team Liquid could bring it back.
It is, man. Sorry, I'm over here just... It's one of my favorite analysis moments when we're like, all right, they're all tied up. One team will take a lead here, and one team will not. One team will win, and one team will lose. Just feels like we're experts when we drop down that knowledge, letting you guys know at home. That's what we get up here for.
Just in case you didn't realize
Just in
that.
case you didn't know, no ties are available here. So I actually really look at this composition, and I just look at Team Liquid, and I think they got it in the bag.
You know, one team wins so hard. It's like a 20-0, and all of a sudden, when a referee comes in, by the
Nope.
way, they get 2 points
They
now.
get 2 points now. It's over with. They won the best of 5.
They won so hard, the other team just immediately forfeited.
Maybe one day that'll happen. Heroes of the Storm 3.0.
But
That'll be
until
happening.
then, one team is going to take the lead, and one team is
going
not.
to lose. Who will take that win? Who will take that loss? Let's find out now. It's time for game number 3 here on Battlefield of Eternity. Team Liquid versus Tricked Esport.
It's game number 3. One team is going to take the lead here, as we have to the left side, Tricked Esports with an Uvarak played by Remoballer, Crosby on Lunara, Alex on Dehaka. Seeing Make on Tassadar for the double support, and another guy, which is... Who did I forget?
Alex? You forgot Alex.
No, I didn't forget Alex. I said he isn't Dehaka.
Well, the blue team is on the left.
Knappe on Uther?
There's that intro. Perfect, you got it. On the right side, in the red, Team Liquid, Hasselabs on Vola, Blumby on Murden, Splendor playing Rhaegar, Nurok on Malthael, and Darkmok will be the Tyrande.
I feel bad now. I forgot one of them.
They're probably going to put it in the complaint box.
By the way, the thing about like the one team takes it is probably more to remind people out there that it's a tie right now.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I just had a moment, you know, it was a moment. I'm sitting here smiling myself. That's all. Oh, hang on. Gage coming out. Right away, Rhaegar goes in for the damage. Splendor will get hit with the drag, and Tricked Esport will survive the first initial combo.
Yeah, Splendor going immediately aggressive here. Let's talk a bit about the builds. Nothing too crazy, but just again to remind you guys, we have Arrow build on Vala, and we have on the other side the Owl build now for Tyrande, which basically means that we have on level 1 immediately Ranger taken, and then on 13 later on it's the cooldown reduction for the Owl. And we've been talking a lot about the stun combos that are usually initiated by Murden throwing a Stormbolt out. That does not only help to get the extra damage in and a potential kill, but it also helps in the early game Tyrande to stack a little bit easier on her owls, and then in the late game when we have these poke battles, that can have a huge impact.
What would you say is a good number to have in terms of stacks moving into level 13? 30 to 40 range? Or is that a little bit too much?
No, 30, like if you cross 30, it's pretty good. I mean, it depends a lot on the map as well. If you're in the 4-man rotation, in a 4 versus 4 situation on the battlefield, on a 2-lane map, for example, I think it's easier for you to stack than if you are somewhere where you only face one opponent. So for this map, if they get that done, that would be pretty solid for them here. But I could even see that on battlefield, you get more stacks for it.
Incredible healing there. Make bringing the shields, Nappe healing up. Rimmer able to survive the combo that does come their way, but he will have to head back home, which should give Team Liquid a little bit of a window here to put some damage on the Immortal. Tricked, though, setting up 4 members actually, no, just 3, in the area to be able to defend, and they have a Dehaka that can float in at any point.
Just thinking about it, Tyrande already has 6 stacks, so that's pretty fast for 2 minutes in. And if that just continues, then Tricked is in the late game going to have huge problems here. And we have a lot of talents actually that could become an issue. Malthael in the late game comes online as well. Once again, the combo attempt against Crosby. Not quite finding a target just yet for a kill, but always putting the pressure onto the damage dealer of Tricked Esports. And Team Liquid, this draft that they have has so much potential here. It's absolutely fantastic, especially when we're also talking about Bala with the Arrow build quest talent on level 4 coming into play. And if she gets that stacked too, it's not only the pressure against heroes, but the Immortal itself is also going to fall within seconds if they ever get access.
They will. Level 4 is coming online for our teams. Going to see that poke continuing to pop out. Vala does push in the bottom lane, forcing Team Liquid to come on down to the Immortal and defend, as Tricked Esport is intending to try and force a little bit of poke here. A lot of dancing between our teams. Dehaka is trying to just get his team towards level 10, soaking on the side, using the brush talk when available.
Yeah, once again, a little bit of a fight here. Celestial Attunement has also been taken by Tyrande, so can remove stuns now. And that's a good thing considering how many we have on the side of Tricked Esports, so it's going to make it a bit easier for that front line to survive here. We have Vala starting with her stacking process as well, thanks to the level 4 quest, and Tyrande taking, again, a little bit of the hit points away from Lunara. Crosby is having a rough time when he wants to go up to the front. He has to be really careful with his positioning against all these stuns that are trying to zone in on him.
Uther really helping out there, though. He was stunned by both the Stormbolt that came out, as well as the Immortal Stun being in a spot where it defended against the engage coming in from Blumby, but the Tyrande stun, the Luna Flare, came out right away. So Crosby surviving 2 major engagements. Darkmonk, though, does get dragged by Alex and Progi on the right side, taking some pressure, but Splinter comes in to help out.
Yeah, nice position also for the healing waters. The rest of the team comes in. We saw 2 heroes of Liquid down in the bot lane trying to break through the wall, but the fight is still continuing with Alex in trouble, moving out. But Liquid has lost a lot of hit points. Remaball, on the other hand, gets taken down, but Blumby, is he able to escape? He's about to fall, but Rega might have another heal ready in time.
Oh, the trade pops through the last time, and he's able to heal, but Dehaka not so fortunate as Hasselhoff will clean him up, putting some damage on Namake as well, but with an Uther healing on the side, he's going to have to be careful for the moment. Now it's all about the Immortal. Apply some damage with Crosby stepping up.
Uther has fallen too, though, so 3 heroes died in that exchange on the side of Trick, and now we have the Immortal about to fall. Halftime show, at least, that is. And Team Liquid is taking a significant lead in the Immortal damage. They are starting to also continue their stacks on Tyrande, and now we're looking at 11 stacks. Still pretty early in the game. Keep in mind that the big spike comes after 13 when you get that cooldown reduction.
Nurok working in the Reaper's Mark as much as he can there, dropping it here on the side. Trying to chunk forward. Hasselhoff doing the same, while Tyrande sits on the bottom side and is soaking up.
Also, he has Throwing Shade now on level 4, an adjustment to the map, increasing the range of Death Shroud so that he can poke away against the Immortal, which is exactly what he's doing right now. So Malthael definitely adjusting his own build to the map.
Well, see if that pays off. Allows for him to be on the backside. Play almost Li Ming-like with his poke.
No. I mean,
just get it in.
Look at it, he's always moving in, just hitting another one. One after another, moving into the side, hitting them one at a time, and they really poke away against the Immortal quite significantly. Hazob's committing the arrows now too, and this is definitely going to be an easy Immortal on the side of Liquid. Tricked has realized that too, that they're losing out on it in the long run, so they just said, guys, let's try to remove some hit points, try to remove shield points, because we're going to lose this one anyways.
3 more levels to level 10. Trick Esports is going to set up for defense on the top side as Team Liquid will be pushing in with the Immortal here. Got to watch out for Blumby. Blumby's going to be the one that set up his team for those kills if they're able to get them. Trick will be able to use Lenora for defense while the Haka works on the bottom side. Crosby already getting hit there with the Stormbolt.
That push up at the top lane is just so powerful right now. Liquid has a fantastic draft for this, and it's just only going to get stronger over time. Trick is trying to defend against it, but that first Immortal is already easily breaking through the wall. They're trying to get the kill against Rema. Yeah, Cleanse was good. He re-engages as Alex moves in from the side. They attempt to get the kill against Darkmok. He moves out, but Alex is still continuing to push in. Darkmok might still fall here, and indeed he does, but it's the counter kill against the Haka that puts it into a 4 versus 4, at least up to the moment, where Rega is eliminated and Tricked Esports is getting their kills in. Big problem, of course, is that during the meantime, the Immortal has just had a field day here, and that just feels bad.
That's 0.3 health right there.
Can we see that again? That just feels wrong.
That fort is so low on health, but it will survive for now. Darkmok throws an owl on it, but owls do not kill forts.
Oh, God. Well, the rotation at the top lane now can easily... They can take that fort at any point, so it doesn't really matter too much. Oh, another nice owl shot.
Juicy.
We have 21 stacks, by the way, on that owl already. Pre-13, even pre-10. So that is extremely solid.
And it is. And Trick Esports with their 2 kills are keeping up with the experience despite their fort about to be picked off, which should give experience to Blumby. Blumby actually comes in, drops the Stormbolt. Crosby will get focused down. Lunar Flare actually didn't connect. It doesn't really matter because the cleanse did come out, but Rimmer is the one taking the brunt of the damage. He'll barely get away as well.
Yeah, and so they're finally taking the fort down. Everybody else is moving back. The ult to the face of Lunara, by the way, hasn't quite killed her, but took a significant chunk of hit points away too. We're talking a lot about Lunara, but about Tyrande, but let's talk a bit about Vala. 50 extra damage currently, so halfway through the quest talent, as we have level 10 hitting. And you can see that right now, Tyrande herself is on 23 stacks on her own. So that is pretty impressive, and that's already hinting at a very solid late game for Team Liquid. So Tricked Esports, I think, is actually a little bit on the clock here. They really need to start making some work. They have to take Immortals, and they have to just yeah, bring the pain, because if they don't, the late game of Team Liquid is looking incredibly strong. But now we have level 10s, so now we're talking about heroic abilities playing a part in these fights.
That's right, Cocoon, Adaptation, Archon, all being picked up here by Tricked Esports, looking for the fight. Strafe being utilized for the Vala as well, so they're intending to get somebody low with their poke initially, and then she can follow it up with the Strafe if they can't quite get the kill, and keep their opponents from walking away into the fight. Team Liquid clearing the bottom side, as the Mercs were pushing in, Dahaka doing the same to the top left, and now we can focus on the Immortals. Team Liquid making the adjustments to start moving forward.
Yeah, Stormbolt is missing, Ramabola reacts and moves out. But for Tricked, it's really difficult to go into this. They have to find a way to engage, and currently Hazops and his boys are just double-checking every single bush the entire time. They definitely learned their lesson from the last map, from Tomb of the Spider Queen. And for Tricked, this is just going to be incredibly rough. Even Crosby has trouble to poke and move out, because there's always Stormbolts, always Malthael, Lunara moving, Piranha moving in. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to try and engage that. It all hinges, in my opinion, on Alex getting a good drag.
Let's see if he'll be able to get it here. As he's in the top, pushing it in. Toronto is thinking about maybe moving up with the Shadow Stalk, bringing out the Lunar Flare, harassing a little bit. Gonna decide to go ahead and just use the time to clear out that wave. Getting that attack speed will be helpful for the time. Going to be seeing the poke constantly happening here. And I do like how Tricked is positioning. They are in a spot where that poke isn't very possible for Team Liquid. It's in the front line, but every time they do step out, they make themselves vulnerable to that Blumby, engage with the Stormbolt. Every single time he steps in the middle, they pull away.
Liquid has a lot of time, because the continuous moves from Tyrande allow her to just stack her quests. We see Vala stacking hers, and at the same time, Nuro can always poke away against the Immortal. So Liquid has absolutely no rush here. It's Trick that needs to make the move at some point. And currently they decide to not really go for it just yet. And Liquid is absolutely fine with it. So now we're seeing Trick Esports starting to move up a little bit farther. Of course, it's all about the Haka making the engage happen at some point. But Team Liquid is definitely having a good time with this right now.
It's quite a fun dance to watch. You know, a lot of people may look at this and think that this game is kind of delayed, a little bit on the slow side, but it's a lot of things going into the mix right now. And Toronto building up like crazy, Dahaka working furiously at the top lane to keep his team in an experience lead, Crosby clearing out damage when he can. It's actually a lot of fun to watch.
And currently we are still seeing the Owl coming cross-map over and over and over again. We're now seeing 65 extra damage for Hazops, who commits another quick arrow and gets a bit of damage in. Nurok moves in, another Death Shroud. That's the level 4 talent coming into play that we pointed out earlier. And here comes the Haka. This is the moment. The Stormbolt hits immediately. They're trying to follow up from Piranha, but the sun doesn't commit. And all of a sudden we are having the move back by Team Liquid. Blumby taking the blunt of the damage up at the front. And Trick Esports, with Archon being popped now as well, is starting to move forward.
Yeah, that was the big thing there. Archon being utilized. Now Team Liquid, after they tap Wells, can come back to the fight and look for that combo, which forces Trick Esports backwards. Nurok goes in for the engage. Does hit Nabe here. He still has that Tormented Souls available if he wants to go for the fight. He does dash in. Tormented Souls will be used. So is Divine Shield. Hasselhoff's bringing in the auto attack damage as well. Blumby jumping forward, wanting to hit a Stormbolt.
And once again, the poke happening the entire time. Once again, they're starting to move in against Alex. Alex low already, trying to save himself with the burrow. Inape goes in for the stun, tries to get it, but immediate move on the side of the support with a quick cleanse, and the Ancestral hitting through to Blumby as two heroes go down. Uther and Ubrok are both dead. Crosby survives, dodges the Owl, but in the meantime, we have the rest of Team Liquid focusing their attention towards the Immortal. The engagement has finally happened. Trick knew they're on a clock and they moved in, initially starting a decent fight, but Team Liquid turned it around.
The Ancestor healing was awesome sauce there for Team Liquid. Allowed Blumby to stay on that front line, eventually get the kills, and you saw the members fall one by one for a Tricked Esport. Now with the huge Immortal in the bottom lane here, they can move towards a fort, continue to keep moving in. And let's look at that update here for the Owl. What do they have in terms of stacks? Only 32 for the moment, but with 13 hitting, this is where you start to see that cooldown reduction connect.
Exactly, so the cooldown reduction is going to be important here, and again, late game is just getting better and better for Team Liquid. They are not really done yet with their completion on the level 4 arrow talent, so that's going to get a power spike as well. And we have currently 17 stacks on the level 4 talent for Malthael, the Throwing Shade. So that's going to be another one. If you have that range increase and also the cooldown reduction, you can poke the entire time. That's one of the things that I'm really a little bit concerned about for Trick. It's not that they are currently falling behind. It's that it's going to become even worse because that gap is going to increase.
Things ramp up for Team Liquid the more that they have time to actually work on these quests. Nurok is going to be using his Tormented Souls. Will he be able to live here? Heal comes out, does dash away. Alex approaching goes for the drag, but the cleanse was wonderful there.
Splendor keeping everyone alive here, and once again, this time it's Blomby was in trouble, and he will eventually fall here. So that's definitely a good move by Trick. That's the one kill that they have in this fight. It's still 14 versus 14. When it comes to the experience, they are still fine. It's really just the structural position on the map where they are struggling. And of course, look how much damage that does. That's of course a cross-map owl, but still, the stacks are starting to hurt. You are at 35 stacks already, so that's a lot of extra damage, and we are only 14 minutes into the game.
I mean, that was a casual bird for an Uther heal. I mean, that's effectively what that was, which is pretty darn crazy to think about. Team Liquid will now clear up the bottom side here, still have one fort. In terms of an update for the game, Trick is actually a little ahead in experience, but hurting on 2 forts.
Look how often these owls are coming in right now because of that cooldown reduction. Darkmok, on the other hand, might fall here now, and indeed he does, as we see Liquid committing to a fight without their tank.
That was a fight that Trick needed there. First off, they got Darkmok, which is wonderful. They get a cocoon here on Nurok. Can they kill him as well? Should be able to. He's trying to kite forward and live for the moment, but there it is, a 3rd kill for Trick. So they find a possibility, they find a moment to go in for a kill. Bit of a blunder for our Team Liquid, but they take that blunder and they run with it.
Yeah, what was that?
Sometimes you live in the moment and you want more stacks.
Yeah, but they... Am I crazy? Did they just move into a 4 versus 5?
Yeah, they
for
did.
No reason whatsoever? For a camp? And lost an entire level? Am I reading this right?
No, they done goofed.
Alright.
No, you're definitely laying it on there.
Just double checking because... No, I seriously thought I missed something.
Yeah.
That was odd. The entire game they play patient, and now without really being pressured, they all of a sudden engage into a really, really weird battle. But yeah, let's see how they recover, because now they find themselves behind.
Yep.
Now Trick has a talent advantage with 16 to level 15, and that's where Team Liquid has to somehow, first of all, get the experience to get level 16. They are now in structures even with their opponent.
We've been talking about Tyrande, but now it's time to talk about Maka here on that Tassadar. He's going to have a double storm, which softens up the opponent pretty well, continuing chunking it out there. He's also finished the quest, which gets him a little bit more damage, 20% more on that Tassadar. So he's going to be having side storms. He's constantly hitting that back line and working those forts.
So Blumby already a bit low. We don't have Ancestral ready yet, can now be used, but Blumby is hoping for his trade to kick in. So we still see Splendor holding his own heroic back. The pokes are going to happen. Here comes again Alex. Darkmok is completely isolated. Alex doesn't even go for him. Ancestral comes through, and they are trying to save Tyrande somehow, but she is down as Trick re-engages once again. The camp at the top lane is going to soon get value for Team Liquid, but Trick can now start to send someone over to take it down. And in the meantime, Liquid has still not reached level 16.
Trick is doing exactly what they needed to do. They needed to find moments to make plays and find picks that allow for them to stop the composition that Team Liquid has. And they have done that now 3 times in a row. Team Liquid seems to be getting caught out of position often, especially Darkmok there on that Tyrande.
I mean, the biggest problem is just still that they didn't have level 16 when all of this happened. So now they're down 50% on the Immortal. They have their level 16 talent, so they can start to fight back here. We also see Throwing Shade by now completed, so that at least helps. Soul Collector has also been taken on level 16 now, and what of course is also going to be very beneficial for them is that Murden has Stone Form and therefore additional sustain. But the poke of Malthael, now that the range increase is actually thanks to the completion of the quest talent in play, he can really, really use that to slowly poke away against it. And now we're finding ourselves again in the situation that we talked about earlier. That slow battle that Team Liquid is going to win and where Trick has to make a move.
That range is ridiculous. I did not realize that Nurok had actually drafted Chromie. He is hitting this from across the map right now.
It's the ugly version of Chromie.
This is bonkers. I can't believe it.
You don't want to see her naked?
Okay. That joke is dead. That is 2 weeks old. It is time for it to die, Caldor.
Hey, okay, come on, at least give me this one. That one was good.
Smidgen funny.
Yeah.
Smidgen. The poke continues here. Nurok keeping up with it on the side. Stun comes out, accidentally hitting a Nubarak here on the back right. Remember, we'll be able to get away, though, with Dahaka coming in.
Yeah, so for now, Liquid is actually they're 1.5 levels behind. But they're still in a spot where they can poke away, and that's what they do. The Haka, on the other hand, is utilizing the global now on the side of Trick Esports and is starting to pressure one of the keeps, which forces the hand of Liquid a bit. They're starting to go in. These owls are really starting to hurt. So we have had a huge jump in owls now in stacks to up to 58 at this point. So in those 3 levels that we had, we have 25 additional stacks that were picked up by Tyrande, and she's starting to hurt here. And that's something that Tricked, of course, realizes as well. But this Immortal could change everything, because once it's taken, it could even mean keep. And that is something that Liquid knows. They are pushing far forward now.
Massive amount of heroics used in that fight there. Divine Shield still available for Trick Esports. They're taking back here. Nerox getting low on health. Darkmore's going to try and work in some attacks due to get the heal out. Tormented Soul being utilized for Nerox in case he would go in for an engage, but unable to do so. And these Immortals are pretty darn close. Trick Esports slightly ahead and can now make the maneuver in to start poking it down.
Liquid is out of mana. They needed to go back here, and that gives the Immortal over. But the poke from the Owl is still crazy. Make has taken so much damage here already, and Gnappe himself is starting to run low on mana too, because he constantly has to try and somehow keep his allies alive here. This Immortal needs to get value for Trick. They need to do something, because they realize the longer this game goes, the more these Owls are going to hurt and the more damage is going to be done. We have 63 stacks at this point on the side of Darkmoor, and he is starting to take, I mean, his damage is starting to ramp up. He's not quite on the level of Hazorps yet, don't get me wrong, but still, this is over and over just damage they can put out that Trick somehow needs to compensate for.
And this is the way that Trick Esports like to handle this battleground. Whenever they win the Immortal, they'll go to the opposite side if they think they can get an advantage and force their opponent to be in that area. And they have forced Team Liquid to be down here on the bottom right side while they poke down the keep wall. Bala herself from Team Liquid has went to the top lane and is working on the Immortal and started to finally break through the health bar. But Trick, seeing this, starts to move in as a unit of 5. They want to start putting damage on the keep.
Yeah, Trick is doing so much right now with the advantages that they have. They know that it in the late game can be rough for them, but they are the ones that are going to hit 20 so much faster. They are 2 levels ahead of Team Liquid right now, and they are pushing in wherever they can. And they want ideally both of the keeps here, at least one. The top keep has been defended though, and now at the bottom of the map, Team Liquid is about to push them back too. So it looks more and more as if Trick Esports is not going to be able to take a keep, and Liquid wants a fight before 20 hits.
They jump in, Blumby leading the charge, Avatar being utilized, Dahaka went back to looking for a drag, Cocoon also being used, Nerok going forward on the chase. Can he jump in? Blumby will have a storm build up in a couple of seconds. Remember the one being focused here. Trick does not want to fight. All they want to do is just not die and get away so they can get 20.
Hazorps once again with the vault and the arrow immediately. Here comes the Stormbolt, Divine Shield being used, the Owls are being fired away. Trick is in full retreat here. That 20 isn't ready yet, but they're trying to go for Darkmag. The Ancestral comes through, and once again, Nurok with the attempt to re-engage. The Stormbolt hits home.
The Owls
nearly down by the Owl, but still survives for now.
Multiple Owls coming out in that fight. Going in, will it hit Crosby? No, he's able to sidestep it as well as Nape. The 20 about to hit. Team Liquid pulls away. They tried to force a fight, which was the right move, but Trick Esports answered back well. Almost even turned that fight around with the drag coming out.
Yeah, and them having 20 is now huge, because Liquid is on level 18, and that means that the next Immortal is going to spawn before they have 20, and that's bad news. It's really bad news, because they're still 2 level away as it happens, so there has no way they're going to be able to hit their level 20 talents. They will have to take a very disadvantageous fight. They can't give this one over. It's 22 minutes into the game.
They may have to just sit on their Immortal and defend, but at that point, they're waiting for a Dahaka to push in their lanes, which are already low on the keeps here. All the tools are available here for Trick Esports to be very aggressive with their positioning, and they move in. They're looking at this keep on the side here, get it down to half health, poking where they can. They have to watch out from Team Liquid's poke, though. Again, at any point where those Owls do connect, continue to ramp up as we continue to move into late game.
Yeah, Liquid is in a really awkward spot here. They're in an incredible weird spot, because they need to fight and they know it as well, but they are still down at level 20 talent, and Tricked is very unlikely to give them enough time. Owl after Owl is just hitting. Make gets nearly, I mean, 2 Owls would just drop him. He lost half his hit point bar thanks to oh my god, Lunara is in so much trouble. Gets the Divine Shield though. Nappe with the save. Cocoon is out as they go for Blumby, and Vala in the backline has just died.
And Team Liquid is losing multiple members here. Haswab is getting picked off there on the Vala. Rhaegar as well. Nurok is getting poked too. He'll use Tormented Souls to try and escape and get a few health bars up, but it's not enough. Trick Esports turns around the fight. They find a Tyrande as well, and now they can move in for keeps and core.
Yeah, they can go straight for it at this point. 4 heroes down, only Blumby survives, and Trick has actually done it. They go in, they go straight for the keep, and they will focus the core now. They don't even care about the Immortal at this point any longer. Muradin alone is not going to be enough to stop them here. And Trick Esports is going to be the team that takes the lead in this series, with 5-man going straight for the core, putting the pressure also on Blumby himself right now, and he's eventually going to fall too. So this is definitely bad news for TL after they initially started this series with a victory on Cursed Hollow, but Trick is having none of it, winning 2 in a row and taking the 2-1 lead.
Impressive play from both teams. Team Liquid making a mistake in the middle, though, really hurt them. I like the style. I like how they approached the Battleground. I liked how they approached the Immortals, but that big play on the bottom side that allowed Trick Esports to get multiple kills gave them enough map pressure and a lead there to get that 16 to 15, and it just felt like Team Liquid with their comp was just fighting uphill the entire time.
Yeah, they just threw the game. I mean, of course, you need to exploit those mistakes. It's not like they basically just gave Trick the win. Trick had to work for it, and they did. They made the right choices afterwards. But that engage into a 4 versus 5 that wasn't needed, where you couldn't really gain anything, was just a straight-up throw from Team Liquid. Once that happened, they lost 3 heroes. They were before this, they were ahead, slightly inexperienced. It wasn't a big lead, but it didn't matter since they were still in the better position. And through that one fight, they lost 3 heroes. They lost a 4th. They were a level behind. They had a talent disadvantage going into the next Immortal. In that one moment, Team Liquid said basically, hey, we worked for 14 minutes the entire time, really hard for this game. Let's just throw it all away. That was absolutely unnecessary. And Trick just looked at it and said like, well, thank you very much for that. We're never going to give you an opportunity to come back into this. We take this advantage and we exploit it ruthlessly. We're going to use the talent advantage. We're going to push the structures down, and Trick at that point played fantastic and did every single thing they needed to do.
Sometimes all you need is a moment there. The moment coming in there for Trick Esports, and they get the victory, so they are now up 2-1. Let's go ahead and take a look at our global cheers overall here at the HGC, closing in on 19 million, getting closer and closer.
Yeah, so second unlock, the Arcane Chaos Lizard actually unlocks at 20, so we are pretty much closing in on the second mount here.
Oh, actually, it just got updated, so this was before. We are over 19 million.
Okay, that was a pretty quick jump.
I threw that in there. That was all my cheers.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. It's appreciated.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But yeah, so I'm excited for the next map. I really like the style as well that Team Liquid had, because they were playing a very slow poke game.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool. We've seen a lot of hyper-aggressive compositions. We've seen on other maps wave-click compositions. But them just having a comp that is so around poke, with Malthiel going for his quest talent so he gets the extra range. I really like this. Also banking on Lunara and her damage output. She finished with 93, 95 stacks. If you can just keep this up and prolong the game a little bit more, she really ramped up in damage. At the start, when she was around 13, and she had very little damage output, and then over the next 3-4 levels, all of a sudden, she was spiking towards the number 3 spot in the game overall, just behind Lunara and behind Vala. So if that continues, that just hurts even more. But if you play this patient style, and that's your idea of approaching the game, then you can't get baited into these fights.
Yeah.
So Liquid with a cool idea, but one moment where they lacked the discipline to follow through with it cost them the game here. And Tricked, they did a great job exploiting it. And that's the problem with going up against Tricked. You give them one opportunity and they'll grab it.
Well, let's go ahead and see how this will all unfold here as we get ready for a game.